Hello and welcome to a new video. This is going to be a draw with me while I talk about books that I read and shows and movies that I watched during July, so it like a very late wrap up. We're already over halfway through August. So grab your sketchbook and your drink of choice. I've got water while I'm recording the audio, and enjoy the video. So first, let's talk about the movies and shows that I watched this last month. Honestly, I think I only watched movies. Anyways, the first one that I watched was The Boy and the Heron from Studio Ghibli. I've been wanting to watch this movie for ages, and I finally got around to watching it. It was a really sweet movie. It was kind of confusing. I mean, the whole premise, I didn't know anything when I walked into this movie. And I think it's one of those movies that you need to watch 2 or 3 times to fully understand the movie. Maybe even 4th time. But anyways, I rated it a 4 out of 5. I admit I did cry, and if a movie can evoke such emotions like that, then it's obviously gonna be a higher rating in my book. Plus, I made fan art of one of the characters. Maybe I'll insert a clip or something showing the drawing I did of Lady Hime. I really liked her character. I think she might be my favorite. And the scenes with her and Mahito made me cry, bro. It was so cute. And by the way, yes, I am drawing Hosier in this clip. The next movie that I watched was Moonrise Kingdom by Wes Anderson. I really enjoyed this one. While I watched it while drawing that Lady Hime drawing, I usually avoid multitasking while watching a movie for the first time. But I was in the mood to do it when I watched it. It was cute. I really enjoyed the cinematography of it. Of course, Wes Anderson. The characters were very endearing, and I liked the way the storyline progressed. I would rate it like a 3.5, honestly. Next time I definitely have to pay more attention to the movie than multitasking, because that's something I really need to get out of. I really need to avoid that. Next, I watched Labyrinth by Jim Henson. This movie was a 5 out of 5. I love the story, I love David Bowie, the visuals. I definitely have to draw fan art or some screen cap of sorts of Sarah in the Goblin King's world, because it was just stunning visually, especially the dress. I mean, everyone talks about the scene where she's wearing that beautiful white dress and her hair's all done. It was stunning. I was completely entranced by it. And of course, the music was such a vibe. After that, I watched Pirates of the Caribbean. I have never watched it up until this month. I know, crazy. But my parents never let me watch it when I was younger, but I wish I did. Because I was a huge fan of like Narnia, Voyage of the Dawn Treader, so this was right up my alley. Now I appreciate it's a vibe. I would rate it like a 3.5 out of 5, but I wish I'd watched it when I was younger. And the last movie that I watched this July was The Godfather. This was a 5 out of 5 without a doubt. It's so interesting to watch this movie as a woman. There's a lot to get into that, but anyways. I love the soundtrack, the dialogue, the visuals, especially when they're in Sicily. And I think Apollonia is definitely my favorite character. Alrighty, now on to the books that I read this month. I read a total of 15 books this month, which is very good. I read so many mangas, that's the thing, because I would not be able to do this if it was just, novels and stuff. I'm very proud of myself nonetheless, because when the month started, I was so behind on my Goodreads goal of 60 books, but now I think I'm like 4 books ahead of schedule, which is always good. So first I read the volumes 10 and 11 of Banana Fish. I don't want to yap on too long about this series because I could really get into it, but it was amazing. Like, it was just amazing. So many people talk about AG and Ash, but there are so many more characters that have such interesting storylines and personalities, and they're just so well fleshed out. It was amazing. I'm so thankful I bought these. Yeah. 5 stars. Every single manga. Next, I read Dibujos Recuperados de Franz Kafka, or Recovered Art of Franz Kafka. I picked this up unexpectedly one night and read it in one sitting because it's mostly just, as you can imagine, drawings. Aside from that, it was a very personal journal. I felt kind of guilty after reading it because it felt just that personal. Actually, in the book, it was mentioned that his best friend published this against his will after Kafka died, which was kind of upsetting, not gonna lie. But I rated it a 5 out of 5 on Goodreads. But then again, it feels kind of weird rating books like that because it's so personal, you can't really give it a rating. I don't know. Anyways, next I read Sueño de Noche de Verano by William Shakespeare, or A Midsummer Night's Dream, and Other Stories. This was a 3-star book, I think. I enjoyed some stories over others. My favorite was A Midsummer Night's Dream, of course, though I did enjoy like Pericles, Pericles? I don't know what that's called in English. Prince of Tyre. I had actually read this book last year, but then I DNF'd it. I don't know, I just was not in the mood to read Shakespeare, especially because it's a Spanish copy. I just was not in the mood. Next, I binge read volumes 12 till 19 of Banana Fish in the span of like 2 days. I was in shambles when I finished it, and if you follow me on Goodreads, you can see my review on the last volume. I don't think I'll ever watch the anime, thank you very much, but nonetheless, they were all 5-star. I still think about the characters in the storyline to this day, a month later. Next, because as you can imagine I needed some comfort, I read The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess Volume 11. This is one of my favorite manga series, and it was really bittersweet. I really enjoyed how beautifully written and drawn, and the characters, especially the relationship between Midna and Zelda, I think it's so endearing. I wish I could play the game, but I don't have the console, sadly. Alright, the drawing of Hosier is done. Now onto the next page. Honestly, I had no idea what I was doing. I was going in blind. I knew I wanted to draw something with mermaids. For some reason, mermaids have been on my mind recently. Honestly, for this whole page, I was kind of stiff for some reason while drawing, and that doesn't seem to go away anytime soon, so excuse that. I mean, it was fun to draw this anyways, but yeah, very stiff. You know, which is weird because usually at some point you kind of get over the stiffness and you're drawing more loosely, this and that. Not this time, unfortunately. Anyways, back to the reading wrap-up. After that, I read 1,000 Ships by Natalie Haynes. I needed some good old Greek mythology retellings. This one was refreshing since it was told from the perspectives of different women, goddesses, and deities involved in the Trojan War. I enjoyed some chapters over others. My favorite chapters might be like Cassandra and Briseis. Regardless, it was well written given the fact most characters had only a chapter to themselves, yet still felt so fleshed out and human, or not, if it was a goddess. And every chapter I think I would miss the previous POV, but then I end up appreciating it just as much. This book really cemented my dislike for most, if not all, men in Greek mythology, especially Agamemnon and Achilles. They're the worst, genuinely. I do wish we got more characters like Polyxena and even Briseis, since most of her chapter was told from Chryseis' POV. Yeah, I ended up rating it like a 3-star on Goodreads, but to me it's more like a 3.25 star. And the last book that I read was The Jasmine Throne. And oh my god, I'm so happy my friend lent it to me. Fabi, if you're watching, thank you. This book was a 5-star read, without a doubt. It might end up being one of my favorites this year. I've been subconsciously looking for a book like this since I finished A Day of Fallen Night back in October, which was probably one of my favorites, if not my favorite book of 2023. The writing is beautiful. I absolutely love the descriptions of different sceneries, people, food. It made me crave some good Indian food so bad. But it was so immersive thanks to Tasha Suri's beautiful prose. The characters were so well fleshed out. It felt like I was reading a real life conversation between people, or reading a real life romance or sibling relationship or rivalry. It came to a point where I made a Pinterest board dedicated to my fan cast for different characters, which I rarely do, unless I'm super invested and I really enjoy the book. Again, since I read A Day of Fall Night, I really want to make fan art of different characters from the Jasmine Throne, or just art inspired by characters or sceneries from the book. You know it's good when the book inspires you to make art. I got really emotional while reading this, and I need to find more people who enjoy this book. Like, if you have read this book and you enjoyed it, please comment below. I'd love to talk about this book more. By the time I'm recording this audio, I'm reading the second book in the trilogy. I think it's a trilogy, The Oleander Sword. And so far, so very good. It doesn't fall off from the first book, and I'm very pleased. Though I'm taking my time because I know I have to wait until November for the third book. Anyways, I need to stop gushing. This ended up being 10% wrap up and 90% my review for the Jasmine Throne. Overall, a very productive reading and watching month. I haven't watched so many movies in 1 month, I think, ever. And only rewatched the favorite movie twice, The Hobbit Battle of the Five Armies. Because how could I not? There was a point in between 2020 and 2023 where I would watch it every single day. Either Battle of the Five Armies, or The Desolation of Smaug, or an Unexpected Journey. That's how obsessed I was. So I think I've done well in not rewatching as much. A book I've been reading in July but haven't finished is The Count of Monte Cristo. This book I've just been chipping at since literally August of 2023. Oops. Yeah, I don't know. It's really good, don't get me wrong, but it's just so thick and I'm intimidated by it. But it's such an interesting book. I love the characters and obviously the Count. He's so funny. He's so silly. He's like a teen girl. I love him. And yeah, I still haven't finished it. I'm about 350 pages in. Yeah, it's really good, but I'm just taking forever with it. I hope everyone watching isn't currently paying attention to the whack-ass anatomy of this mermaid. I swear I need to practice anatomy more. But that's my goal in the sketchbook, more anatomy and less floating heads. Actually, comment, what are your goals in your sketchbook if you keep one? Something I do in every sketchbook is write down the goals I have at the beginning of the page, or in the first page. So let me read you my goals for my 27th sketchbook, which is crazy. Take your time, 3 months, 9 months, whatever, it doesn't matter. I just need to spend more time because I feel like it's a very common theme, especially like on YouTube or TikTok, whatever, to, complete as many sketchbooks as you can, as fast as you can. So like people will do challenges like, filling a sketchbook in a week, filling a sketchbook in a month, or even less. And I think that it sometimes gets to me, but maybe that's my own problem. Spend time detailing as much as you can. So instead of just drawing a bunch of half-assed sketches, actually taking the time to do the line art, coloring, or really thinking about what to draw instead of just, kind of freestyling and drawing random heads, which is what I usually do, especially if it's like drawing random girls I see off Pinterest. I do that way too often. Practice drawing food and dishes. I already draw a lot of fruits and vegetables in my sketchbooks, but I feel like I need to draw more elaborate dishes, kind of like, well, my biggest inspiration is Studio Ghibli, naturally. So I want to learn how to draw like a full dish, because I always like taking photos of what I eat and just really colorful plates. So might as well try and draw it, right? Practice clothes. I struggle with clothes. Not as much as I used to. I've gotten more comfortable with drawing clothes now, I think. I mean, from this drawing alone, you wouldn't think so, because I didn't even bother to draw a top on the mermaid. But I swear I do. Practice drawing cats and dogs. I don't know what it is about cats and dogs specifically, because I can draw bunnies, sometimes even foxes and other animals, but cats and dogs, they're just so difficult, especially dogs. Cats, I've gotten slowly more comfortable with it, but not dogs at all. Observational art, so mostly, this is mostly referring to in the moment, but this can also apply to like, if I take a photo of something and then reference it later, I guess that can also count, right? Because I take a lot of photos. Like, I think on my phone I have about 9,000 photos and videos. So I have a lot of references, which is always good to, use references from your life instead of off Pinterest. Of course, there's nothing wrong with Pinterest. Like, it's an artist's best friend, but taking photos is a very good resource. Draw like you journal. When I say this, I mean draw with the emotions you're feeling. So instead of just drawing, I don't know, a happy character or whatever, when you're not feeling happy, just draw what you feel. Draw in tune with your emotions. Practice drawing inanimate objects. So yeah, because I don't draw that at all. I always draw living things. I mean, shells are inanimate, right? they count. But more real life things, because I've always seen those like what is it, Tamagotchi drawings that people make, and I think they're so cute, and I'd love to draw my own Tamagotchi. Draw more grotesque and eerie subjects. I used to really like drawing more like gory or just creepy characters. I thought that was so much fun, and one of my big inspirations was Guillermo del Toro's movies, especially like Pan's Labyrinth and Crimson Peak. Crimson Peak I had a big obsession with that movie at some point. I could really get into that. One day I'll make a video just drawing characters from Guillermo del Toro's movies, or just creepy movies in general, because they always have the best character designs, don't they? Draw cars. This, I feel like, is a weak point for a lot of artists, but I just don't know how they work. Like, why are they shaped like that? It makes zero sense to me from an artist's point of view. It's just weird. I feel like a kid, which in a way is good, because then you're not pressured to be good or anything, because you're just drawing for fun. So more cars. Maybe that can be a good art block killing subject to draw if you're just trying to draw like a kid again. Practice accessories and hairstyles. I used to really like drawing braids and stuff, but I feel like I haven't really done that lately. And there are so many artists that draw really beautiful, intricate hairstyles. And I really want to try that, honestly. I've been getting into drawing braids, though. I feel like when you draw a lot of Tolkien elves, it's inevitable, isn't it? Less heads, more full bodies. This, I mean, I already talked about this when I was saying how, oh, don't look at the anatomy. The whole thing that artists love to do, a lot of artists, I'm not saying all artists, is just drawing heads with no body attached. Which, if you want to do that, go right ahead. Like, whatever. That has its own benefits. But I get too comfortable with it to the point where sometimes I really struggle with anatomy. And, you know, I really want to get used to comfortably drawing full bodies. Maybe these goals are too lofty or ambitious, but they're more of like a guideline to know what to lean towards more. When I'm drawing in my sketchbook, when I feel art blocked and I don't know what to draw, I just reference that and be like, oh, you know, I should practice this. Because I tried doing this kind of list and sort of like a guide on Notion, and that never really works because I never look at Notion. For that specifically, I mostly look at Notion for general goals in life or for books. So not so much for art, unfortunately. I'm not entirely confident about how this background turned out. I was going for more of a solid color instead of this streaky, layered background that ended up happening, but I still love using these Tombow markers. They're great. I used to love doing lettering. Who else had that? Who else had the lettering phase? Because I know that when I was like in 8th grade or like primero de eso, I loved lettering. Like, I was a lettering girl of the class. But now I just use them for backgrounds or just general sketchbooking stuff. Even sometimes for my sketch, I'll use a Tombow marker because it's less precise. Instead of, you know, going with a pencil 05 and then it's like, oh, I don't like how much I have to fill in the gaps. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know how the sound quality was, how the overall quality of this video was. I know maybe I started rambling a lot during this video, but I'm trying to get a hang of it, and I hope you guys are patient with me. I hope this video inspired you to get out of your comfort zone or simply pick up your sketchbook. And thanks for watching. Bye bye.